What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran, and we're going back to Rio. And as I recently mentioned, I got the two-disc sort of like, definitive collection of the Rio album, which has the original UK album as well as, what is it, 5 tracks that were reconfigured for the US release, which, some of those tracks were the ones that I had listened to when I started going through the vinyl, because my copy of the vinyl is, the sort of old US release. But yeah, so now that I have this, I may do both. Ultimately, the tune that I'm going to react to, which is Lovely in Your Nightmare, which I just love that title. It has a dark poetry to it. Again, it's suggesting that something is sort of beautiful or in some way alluring, but it's within the context of a nightmare, and not just any nightmare, but your nightmare. I really do love the simplicity, but also sort of the suggestive, ominous character of that phrase. But yeah, like I said, we're going to listen to the original UK version, and then I'd like to maybe come back and listen to the American version and see how that differs, or if I can detect the sort of sonic accentuation, because again, I've heard that most of what was done for the US release is to make it a bit more dance, a bit heavier, like it make the sonics like hit a bit harder. With again, I think the perception that American audiences wanted something that was a bit heavier that they could dance to. So let me know if I'm right about that. I think someone, was it Easy World? Someone was talking about that. Way back when I had just done my first couple reactions, where I did Rio, and what was the next one that I did? I think Rio was the first one. Oh, no, it was Hungry Like the Wolf. That's right, Hungry Like the Wolf and Rio. And little did I know, I was just on the edge of a waterfall, a precipice. It's like, oh, this is Duran Duran's catalog, and just, have continued to fall at terminal velocity down the rabbit hole, which, I will continue to do so. If I could go faster than terminal velocity, I might do that. Nevertheless, as I said, we're going to listen to the UK version of Lovely in Your Nightmare by Duran Duran on their 1982 album, Rio. jam a little bit longer than that fade out there, which is interesting because that sounds sort of like a radio cut, even though this is the album. Nevertheless, I enjoyed that. It was interesting that it was sort of like a complex sort of sonic palette, if you will. It felt groovy, but it did feel dark, but it also, there was like, you could feel the pleading in the sonics. You could feel this, you know, like appeal that like, hey, in your loneliness, in your barren garden, like, you know, buried beneath the winter of your nightmare, I'd like to take part, even if that means joining something dark, even if that means joining something that's, you know, shifted from normal. So yeah, very interesting, and I'd like to again listen to it some more, digest the lyrics a little more, perhaps catch a couple more of the lines. I caught a few, but you know, not enough to be more confident in sort of the contours of exactly what he's saying. But yeah, let me know what you think of that one. Really did enjoy it. Hopefully you heard this. Now with the Rio album, you know, I'm worried. Again, if you are seeing this, then I guess it got through. But yeah, I tried to do New Religion twice, and the second time I even like paused in the middle of the track, talked about some elements, talked about what I caught of the lyrics, which by this point was the second time that I had listened to it, so I was picking up maybe a little bit more. And then like after a 2.5-minute pause, played the rest of the video. Nope, still got blocked. So yeah, I'm a little worried about Rio. We'll have to see. But again, maybe because it was the American release, as far as I can tell on the track listing, you know, New Religion is not one that was redone for the American record. But again, it was coming from my, you know, 82 Rio US release record. So I don't know, maybe the fact that we listened to the UK version will make it more acceptable to the YouTube gatekeepers. I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know what you think of that one. Let me know if there's another tune I haven't yet got to on the Rio album that you really like to see a reaction to. As I mentioned, you know, not only do I have the US remixes or the, you know, US versions, but there's all these demos and non-album singles and B-sides like you know, Like an Angel, Careless Memories Live, The Chauffeur's Blue Silver, which I think Izzy World told me is like a sort of like an acoustic setting and actually the original way that Simon imagined the tune being arranged. Would like to hear that, though. I have to say, you know, The Chauffeur is, I mentioned it in one of the comments where someone was talking about, oh, so do you consider yourself a Duran Duran fan? I was like, you know, I've felt that way for a couple weeks now, at least. But a real pivotal moment was hearing The Chauffeur, and then again, a few days later, hearing Careless Memories. Those tunes just, you know, in different ways, but they both just broke my mind and just made me like even more excited to keep going through their catalog. So I'll be interested to hear that Blue Silver version, but you know, how much I like the sort of I don't know, dystopian electronic kind of vibe of the original, I wonder, you know, what I'm going to think about that version. So we'll get to that one eventually, but do let me know if there's anything else on this sort of deluxe edition that you'd like to hear. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.